welcome to Above Replacement Radio. I am your host, Chris Gianta. You know what Christy Mathewson wasn't worried about? SIERA. When you're thinking about Pedro Ciriaco, I mean, the only one that can compete is maybe Hannes Wagner's 1908 season. Over there on the other side of the screen is Daniel Kern.
Like, if we just clip together every time we've talked about him on other people's profiles, we've done a Mickey Cochran episode.
I can't get past Rabbit Marinville. It's not necessarily Hall of Fame. It's not necessarily above average, but we can guarantee you we are better than just the standard replacement level college sophomore.
And welcome to Above Replacement Radio. We're talking baseball, kind of whenever. I am your host, Chris Gianta. Over there, across from me, as you cannot see on YouTube, unfortunately, is Daniel Kern. How you doing, Daniel?
Chris, I am doing well today. We got some postseason baseball to talk about, like we've been doing for the last few weeks. Things haven't exactly gone the way that we've expected.
Yeah, definitely not.
On both sides of the LCS.
Yeah, I would agree there very much, especially on the National League side of things. I mean, there's many ways you can look at the National League Championship Series. You could say, you know, Braves very well could have won this series by now if they didn't have one blow-up inning happen against them. But, you know, the Dodgers also had their opportunities to win in games 1 and 2. But, I mean, yeah, it's been an interesting ride in that National League Championship Series for sure.
Has been, yeah.
So, I mean, the last time we were talking here on the internet airwaves was, you know, Braves were up 2-0 in the series, and, you know, we were saying Braves could clinch it in LA. We thought it was, you know, we think it's going to go to Los Angeles, and I'm thinking, like, where are we at on that now?
Yeah, I think it almost feels like it's expected at this point. Like, with Max Fried going tonight,
yeah,
you got to feel good about the chances that they have.
Yeah, you know, and the Dodgers pitching situation is questionable. I think it's still to be determined for who's going to start tonight. It's probably going to the news is probably going to drop during the episode.
I think it's probably Corey Knebel again.
Yeah, it very well could be.
It just feels like it.
Unless like Scherzer's just like, I want to go tonight and go on 3 days rest.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's do or die. It's do or die at this point.
Yeah, it is.
And Scherzer would be 100% up for it. It's just a matter of whether Dave Roberts would want to do that. I mean, he's gone free will with Arias, so why not do it with Scherzer?
I have a stat. This is a suspicion of mine, and it looks like it's coming true. I've noticed throughout the postseason against the Giants and against the Braves, the Dodgers have gotten xFIP'd. Like, they've hit a lot of like long fly balls that have died at the wall. Like they had that whole wind game. It's been kind of happening a lot for them. So I did some digging, and I came up with this. Since 2015, when this all started being tracked, there have been 30 teams to have a year in a postseason where they throw at least 1,000 total pitches. Out of the 30, the Dodgers have a minus 73-point difference between their slugging and their x-slugging. That is the lowest difference. I guess the highest difference, whatever you want to call it, among those 30 teams.
It's
the biggest difference
unlucky
between the
difference.
two. Yes, the biggest unlucky difference. No team has gotten more unlucky than the playoffs in the last 7 years. Minimum 1,000 innings pitched on the slugging side of things in the 2021 Los Angeles Dodgers.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. Yeah, they've definitely seemed to have their share of warning track shots.
Yes.
You know, the game 3 of the DS was the most comical.
Yeah, it was
because of the wind, obviously, but it didn't end up hurting them in the series at least. But yeah, it's been interesting to see. I mean, do we want to talk a little bit about Game 3? Because this was a very interesting game to watch.
Yes. The Atlanta. Well, first of all, like you go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, the Dodgers get out to a 2-0 lead to start, I believe. for some reason I forgot it was at 5 o'clock, and I just blanked and missed the first inning. So, yeah, Corey Seager comes through, like he did last year against the Braves. This time with a 2-run homer in the first, and it's like, all right, well, the Dodgers, they're showing up here. They're at the Chavez Ravine. They've shown up, and they didn't score until the 8th inning, and in between that, you have.
No, they scored in the. They scored before that.
What, the Dodgers in Game 3?
Yeah, they scored two in. Score again. Okay, never mind. Carry on.
Until
they didn't score again until the 8th. I blanked and thought you said they hadn't scored period until the 8th.
Right.
I was like, no, they had 2.
But they had about 6 or 7 innings where they were not able to push runs across. That's a big credit to Charlie Morton. And and then it's the top of the 4th. Buehler seems to be going pretty well. There's an interesting series of events that happens in the 4th. You got a Freddie Freeman single. You have a fly out to make it man on first and no outs. Then Austin Riley hits a deep shot. It's it's going back. Gavin Lux appears to be under it a little bit. It pops in his glove and out. It's an error. Freeman goes to third. Riley goes to second. So now it's second. Now you got the tying run on second with Walker Buehler. And actually, now I should go back to the StatCast exit velocity things because I want to see when exactly he got BABIP'd because there were some things.
When was the BABIP happening?
When was the BABIPery going on?
Yeah. It was the 4th, but there was the error by Gavin Lux in center. There was a pitch that Jock Peterson probably could have struck out on, and there was another thing that happened. Oh, I think Dansby hit a ground ball that should have been fielded.
So
by Seager, yeah, yep, it went off Seager's glove. They ruled it a single, but it was a play that Seager could have made.
Right. So you got second and third, one out. Back to it. You got Peterson, and we're about to have a little shout out from our sponsor once again, Who Bought WB Mason.
Damn right.
It's gonna be making that. Yeah, just wait for it. There we go. Perfect.
I love it.
Beautiful. Just like, music to the ears right there. So Austin Riley reaches on his error. Walker Buehler gets kind of stiffed on a call, on a 2-strike call against Jock Peterson. It was a cutter.
It was out of the zone, but it very well could have been called a strike.
Was it out of the zone? I
remember.
I looked.
I just looked at it. It was out, but
I don't know.
It was low. Well, it wasn't out of the zone, but it was low.
I'm gonna take a double check as well.
I can show it to you right here.
Because I remember on the broadcast, we saw some broken glass as Dennis Eckersley would say.
Pitch 3.
That's not how I remembered it.
That's not how I remembered it either, but that's how MLB.com has it.
Screw it. It was a strike. I don't care what MLB
Fine.
Game Day.
I'm fair. I thought it was a strike as well.
And Smith did a good job of presenting it as well.
Yeah.
So I thought it was a strike when it happened, and I still kind of do. But anyway, Buehler maybe got stiffed on a call, and then immediately after, Jock Peterson hits one 111.8 miles per hour on a 10-degree launch angle line drive. That's going to be a hit just about every time. 870 expected batting average. He drives in both there. He drives in just Freeman.
Yeah.
Makes it first and third. Then Duvall comes up. That's when we see a little BABIPery. I think it was a broken bat single that blooped into left field. It was hit 78 miles per hour. That scored another run. That tied the game. Then after that, a walk. Bases loaded now. The aforementioned Swanson single that could have been played by Seager once again. That one was hit 107 miles per hour at a 6-degree launch angle. It was a smoker. It had a 680 expected batting average, but it was hit kind of in Seager's area for sure and kind of right to him. That ended up scoring another run, and then the last run was scored on an Eddie Rosario walk, which made it 4-2. And then in the next inning, the top of the fifth, Adam Duvall had himself another RBI on a single, and it was 5-2. And it's, as the innings go along, we're seeing more scoreless innings. Bottom of the sixth, so Morton goes 5. Bottom of the sixth, we get Minter. He's up and moving. He gets a scoreless inning. Bottom of the seventh, Tyler Motzek, once again, scoreless inning. So now we're in the bottom of the eighth. Dodgers are down 3, and it's like, wow, the Braves could really, truly go up 3-0 right here. And do you want to get into the bottom of the eighth?
I would love to get into the bottom of the eighth, Chris. So I just have to pull up the box score right here.
I gotcha.
I got it right here. So it starts with a Will Smith against Luke Jackson single. Preface: Luke Jackson was one of the Braves' best relievers during the season. He's also been very good in the postseason. So it's not to say that this was the wrong move, but Will Smith singles it was a ground ball single, so get Babbitt. Then Justin Turner had a weak pop up to second, and then AJ Pollock also singled on a ground ball. So I mean, Jackson giving up a couple of ground balls and a weak pop up, looking very good so far. Cody Bellinger comes up, and on a 1-2 pitch, he throws one high above the zone. It was also 96 miles an hour, I think.
Yeah.
95.6. That's a 1-2 pitch. Like if you've ever seen one,
Yeah.
And what does Cody Bellinger do? He hits it out for a 3-run home run to tie the game.
Right. And I actually just watched this inning before we recorded because I was at a much more important game, Springfield women's volleyball.
That's right.
Versus Coast Guard, where they won in 5 sets.
Big win. Improved to 18-4, I believe.
Improved to 18-4, extended their winning streak to 7. So
how about that?
Check out the full game story on scstudentmedia.com.
Absolutely.
But yeah. So I just watched the inning, and I can't even blame Luke Jackson really at all for this performance. I think the Dodgers offense just really strung it together in this inning because Smith gets a single. Turner has a very good at bat that ends up in a pop up. AJ Pollock on a 1-2 pitch that was a very competitive pitch is able to drive it through the middle on an outside breaking ball, I believe it was, and then. Luke Jackson's ahead in the count once again, and he makes a pitcher's pitch. I think the only thing you can really complain about is he had thrown him a high fastball the pitch before. But still, I mean, he threw it 3 or 4 inches above the zone.
That pitch is not meant to be hit for a home run by anybody.
That pitch is meant to be either taken, barely fouled off, or swung and missed at.
Yeah.
And it was a home run. So I mean, I think that's a real credit to the Dodgers
if you're gonna make
offense.
contact with that ball, that's a pop up.
Yes.
That's not hit for a home run. And,
exactly.
Nothing to say other than he got a good piece.
Right. So that's all I really have to say about the Dodgers offense. And then immediately after, Taylor hits a solid line drive for a base hit. Luke Jackson comes out. Jesse Chavez is in.
And then he started the next night.
Taylor got a stolen base, which was pretty clutch. Matt Beattie moved him over on a ground ball to second, and then Mookie Betts on the first pitch of the at bat hit an RBI double, and Kenley Jansen looking like he has for most of the postseason.
He's been very sharp.
Yeah.
1-2-3 inning. I think didn't he strike out the side?
Yes. Strikeout looking, strikeout swinging.
Yeah. I mean, nothing better. Can't have a better outing.
Correct. So then it's all right. So after Game 3, we're all right, momentum's back in the Dodgers' favor.
Yep. I thought for sure LA was winning Game 4. After coming off of that momentum, you don't lose the day after that in the playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. No doubt about it. And you have a great pitching advantage. You have Julio Urias on the mound for you. You got 20 and
bullpen game.
20-3.
Yeah, 20-3.
20-3. And we make fun of it, but he did have an ERA below 3 this year.
Well, yeah, I mean a 20-win season that doesn't happen on accident.
Yeah, and he had a great he was great down the stretch.
What's the worst ERA plus anyone has ever had in a 20-win season? I'm gonna go find out.
potentially Al Spalding.
Probably. That would make sense.
Potentially. I'm not sure. But Arias, especially like in the last month of the season or couple months, because I just remember his ERA was in the mid-threes for most of the year, and then it eventually got below 3.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Arias, and then it's the Braves bullpen game, and it's like, what is going to happen here? And it's the exact opposite of what you think was going to happen happened. Arias just kind of not a good start there. You could blame it on maybe some overworking of him. He has seen a lot of action at a lot of random points in the postseason. Maybe not a lot, but just kind of just randomly being thrown in there. And he allowed 3 home runs, 4 runs in total.
Yeah.
And the Dodgers offense was shut down for most of the night.
So I just real quick, hidden story there is the fact that the Dodgers had 4 hits in that game. Like that's the Braves bullpen. Like the story was in that, the Braves offense exploded. Eddie Rosario almost hit for the cycle, but he had a second home run instead. Dodgers actually did have a better expected batting average this game than the Braves, even though they lost by 7.
Yeah,
that's really funny. But I mean, that's just process. That's not results, and LA's didn't get the results against the Braves bullpen, which I don't think anyone really saw coming. I just wanted to mention, I'm not going to count the 1884 season because that's stupid. Icebox Chamberlain in 1891 had a 22-win season with a 4.22 ERA, good for an 89 ERA plus.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder.
He also had a higher walk rate than strikeout rate.
I wonder, like
in 1891.
I wonder what it would be like 20-win season with like less than 5 losses.
Yeah.
Or like less than.
Well, how many
losses?
Oh yeah, dude, he went 22 and 23. Yeah. Let's say less than 10 losses.
Below 500. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bless you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got a little bit of a common cold combo with Above Replacement Radio right now. It's, we're on a college campus, so we're surrounded by people.
Flu season.
Yeah.
Okay, there have been 20 seasons all time with 20 plus wins and less than 10 losses. And oh no, never mind. That's a lie. It didn't load. Okay, there's over 300 actually. All right, let's see. Among them, the worst ERA plus on the first page of 300 is Lefty Gomez with a 97.
Okay. All right. So yeah. And he was on the Yankees.
He absolutely was. So,
So,
it was 1932.
One of the greatest offenses of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah, 1932. Yeah, that'll do it. So yeah, the Dodgers, I guess, probably did get BABIP. They only struck out 4 times yesterday.
Yeah. They had a better expected batting average than the Braves, who scored 7 runs more than them.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Yeah, I don't know what to say about that. It's weird how baseball works.
Funny. It's a funny sport.
It is. It's a hilarious sport for sure.
To be fair, the Braves also hit 3 home runs, so that probably has a lot to do with it.
That is true. Sometimes home runs can
Eddie Rosario's home run. Well, I don't know which. Oh, his second home run had a 680 expected batting average. Adam Duvall's had an 880, so that one makes a little more sense. Freddie Freeman's had a 720, and then Eddie's first homer, I don't know where it is.
And also, I think we can, if we just go from yesterday, you can look up the expected slugging from each team. And
yeah, you
just
can.
using StatCast
Yep.
search. But you also have some stats on.
It was an 870. Okay.
You also have some stats on Eddie Rosario, I believe.
Yeah, Eddie Rosario. So far in this series, he has a 16 plus 100 OPS, and he became the first player in postseason history last night to have 4 hits, a triple, and 2 home runs in a postseason game.
Oh yeah. Oh wait.
Yep.
I gotta get that button out.
You gotta get that button out. Not our stat. Sarah Langs had it first, but that is a stat.
Yeah. So shout out to Sarah Langs.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's take a look I'll first look at the expected WOBA. Atlanta had 10 more points of expected WOBA on the night, which is not a huge discrepancy, obviously. And the Braves also had 34 more points of expected slugging, which, I mean, still not a crazy discrepancy for one game.
For a game that was a 7-point run differential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, interesting for sure. So now, here we are. It's a 3-1 Braves lead. It's going. The game order is going exactly how it was last year.
Yeah.
However, I feel a bit differently because it's going to be the Braves actually at home.
I think this stretch has just been more convincing from the Braves. Like, remember the Game 3 that they lost in 2020?
Yeah.
Yeah, remember the Game 3 they lost this year?
Yeah.
Very different games. For reference, Kyle Wright gave up, I think, 10 runs in the first inning. So that was a game that they were just out of early.
Yep.
And this year, the Dodgers had to fight for the one win. Like it took a high home run pitch from Cody Bellinger. It took an 8th inning rally where they scored 4 runs to win that game. In Game 1, it was over before in Game 3 in 2020, it was over before it started.
Yeah, that's true. And I'm trying to think of the Braves wins. In the first couple games, I think they were a little closer. Game 4 was a little more convincing, but then
it was 10-2, yeah. You're talking about 2020?
2020, yeah.
Okay.
So now here we are. Braves have a chance to clinch in Dodger Stadium. They got their best possible pitching option on the mound.
They do.
I mean,
this might be the best chance that they have out of the 3 games to clinch.
Potentially.
As crazy as it sounds, they're in Dodger Stadium. Like, Max Fried is the guy you want on the mound here. And then it'll be Morton Game 6, Anderson Game 7. Or the other way around.
Yeah, other way around.
Other way around, yeah.
A Game 7 here would be extremely interesting.
Yeah.
If it's Morton Buehler at Truist Park, that would be interesting. And then it would be Anderson Scherzer at Truist Park again for Game 6, if that happens. Unless Scherzer pitches tonight. By the way, with the Dodgers, everyone except for probably Arias is available, I would imagine, out of the pen. So it really could go any direction. So the Braves probably have less available than the Dodgers because the Braves are not in really do or die mode. So that should be interesting.
It should be.
I mean, yeah, I think this might be the Braves' best chance.
Yeah, I think that's the take I would have.
Right. That's all we really can say because we don't want to make any broad assumptions or predictions, but that's the facts of the situation right now. All right. So, the other series that has been going on, 3 games have occurred since our last recording. And things were looking very good for Boston on Monday night. They won 12-3. You don't really have to go too deep into it. It's just everyone was crushing the baseball for the Red Sox, and Erod had himself a decent night. Then Game 4, that's if the Red Sox end up losing the series, Game 4 is going to be looked at the most because of how things transpired. Everything is looked at very microscopically when it comes to like decision making and what bounces could have gone which way, which calls could have went which way. That was an extremely interesting game viewing experience because, I mean, yeah, the Red Sox scored 2 in the first, Astros scored 1 in the first, and then not a lot of action until a Jose Altuve home run to make it 2-2. I mean, where do you want? What direction do you want to take Game 4?
I mean, I'm just gonna say, as a baseball fan, I try as little as possible to incorporate umpires in in blaming a team for a loss or a win, and it was very easy to blame Laz Diaz for for the Red Sox losing that game, but the fact of the matter is the Red Sox went 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position. They had multiple chances to put the game away in many different innings, and they never did it. They scored 2 in the first on a home run by Xander Bogaerts. They didn't score after that.
Right. And actually, this is something I found before we recorded today. Was I was wondering, like, all right, where are the offensive problems lying here? So since the beginning of Tuesday, where both teams, both series, there's been 2 games that have been played. The Red Sox still lead in average exit velocity in these 2 games, and they're still striking out at a below average rate, which is 21.4%. Mm-hmm. It's all to do with how they're performing with runners in scoring position. Really, yep. They're 0 for 13 in their last 2 games with runners in scoring position. So
most of that was from one game.
And yeah, most of that was from Game 4, which there's a lot of directions it could have gone had things been different. But anyway, back to your point.
Yeah, back to my point. You're not gonna win games when you go 0 for 9. Yeah. Unless you only rely on home runs.
Right.
And the Red Sox lost the game 9-2. The real controversy was in the 9th inning. Nathan Eovaldi had, I believe, first and second, 2 guys out, and he had Jason Castro in a 1-2 count, and he threw a curveball that hit the high outside corner. Was called a ball. I thought it should have been called a strike. I think everyone probably should have assumed it was a strike, except for Laz Diaz, especially since he had called a ball 4 outside to JD Martinez a strike.
Right.
It just the call didn't go the Red Sox way, and everything fell apart from there. Jason Castro hit a game-winning single. They scored 7 runs in the inning, and I mean, like, the Astros, they did their thing. Like, you gave them extra outs, and they hurt you. That's how it works.
Yeah, and eventually Martin Perez comes in.
Yep.
Gives up a 3-run double to Brantley. And one thing we've been pretty right with, for the most part, is the Astros. The Astros were a scarier lineup than the Rays because they can string innings together, and that's exactly what we've seen in the past 2 games. We didn't see it as much in Game 1. They did rely on the home run a little more in Game 1, but this is what we were talking about. But anyway, yeah, it ended up just not going.
Yep.
Not going the Red Sox way, and I'm trying to go back to the video of the missed call there, because it's a thing where you kind of hate the umps, because if it's not where a catcher's set up, they're a little less likely to call it, I think. If I'm thinking correctly here, obviously this isn't going to be put on.
The Astros had 3 extra base hits in Game 5, and they scored 9 runs.
Right.
That's nuts.
And 2 of them came from Yordan.
2 of them came from Yordan Alvarez. They had 1 walk. How many? Jesus, that's actually crazy.
Right.
They had 11 hits, 8 of them singles.
All right, let's take a look here. Live watching some baseball. Yeah, and Vasquez wasn't even set up that far away.
No,
from the target, or from where the pitch ended up. Yeah. That's really tough. That's really tough. But it's hard to let one call determine a game, and the way the Red Sox were hitting, it's probably still a little doubtful that they would end up winning that game.
Yeah, 100%.
So yeah, it's a tough break, but tough breaks happen in baseball. Obviously, you can't put it all on that. And yeah, there were a lot of things the Red Sox didn't execute in, which were partly why they lost the game, not just Laz Diaz. So then we move on to Game 5. It's Sale versus Valdez once again. Sale allows just 1 home run to Alvarez in the 2nd inning, but he looked very good, much better than Much better than he had been his previous 2 starts.
Yeah.
Or previous 3 starts.
Both starters looked great compared to their last few starts. Like, Framber had a decent start against the White Sox. He had a bad start in Game 1 against the Red Sox. He was great last night.
Right, exactly. I should look at the final lines, but
It was 8 innings pitched. I think, like 2 hits, 1 run. Or no, 2 hits. Yeah, he did give up a run.
yeah, we had a full out Frambering. So
Yeah.
I remember in 2019 when Kevin Cash, after Verlander went like 7 or 8
had a great
innings and had
outing.
like 11 strikeouts and no walks. Kevin Cash said we got Verlandered. The Red Sox got Frambered.
They did.
No doubt about it. Because 13 of the 20 batted balls he ended up giving up were negative launch angles.
Yeah.
That's 65%
That's dumb.
of batted balls being.
And that's just negative percent. Like that's not even counting. There was probably some like 3% in there, and 2% and 1%. Those are still ground balls.
Right. Yeah, with degrees there.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think he had a 70% ground ball rate during the game. That's nuts.
Yeah, and Sale, I don't know if it'll end up mattering, but Sale looked very good.
He did.
It's not really part of the story because Red Sox obviously lost 9-1, but he had a very like self-defining 4th inning where he struck out Correa and Tucker to end the inning, and he was throwing. He threw his hardest pitch since before the surgery in that Tucker at bat, which was crazy
Like
to see.
98 or something like that.
Is 98, yeah, 98 and 98.5, like
So basically
when you go to the
99.
decimal,
Yeah.
which that was
Encouraging.
That was very encouraging, yeah, as you would say. And in total on the night, 5 1/3, 3 hits, 2 earned runs. There were some unearned runs there as well. 7 strikeouts, 2 walks, but it didn't matter because bullpen did not do their job, and the Red Sox got Frambered.
They did. Framber is like so many. I told Chris, like Framber's outing was just gonna cause a lot of joy from the anti-analytics crowd because he was inducing a lot of ground balls because he's Framber Valdez and he does that better than anyone we've ever seen. Like in our lives as a baseball fan, possibly better than anyone since like the dead ball era when nobody struck out.
Yeah, I mean statistically,
Yeah.
it's been the best ground ball, quote unquote,
Far and away.
ground
Like
ball
not even
season
close.
you could ask for in the StatCast era as we know it now.
Yeah, and it's not even particularly close. Like we
Not
mentioned,
even close.
it's -6 average launch angle against. No one else is lower than -2.
Out of 820 seasons.
Yeah,
Yeah. We have to keep repeating it because it's that ridiculous.
exactly. That's kind of just what Framber's been doing, and he did it. He did exactly what he was advertised to do. So naturally, you have A-Rod coming out and having that tweet, the exact tweet that I said was going to come out, where he was like, analytics departments, like pitching to contact isn't a bad thing. You can get a lot of ground balls. It's like, first of all, what kind of analytics person is saying that ground balls from a pitcher are bad?
Yeah.
That's actually like the best case scenario outside of strikeouts.
Yeah, the analytics people like SIERA,
Yeah.
which is which rewards ground ball pitchers.
Yep, it does that, and it's also like Framber Valdez.
Yeah.
It's literally like if there's one person that you can just easily tell to pitch to contact, it's like Freddie Peralta has like a 21-degree average launch angle against. Like you don't want to tell him to pitch the contact. You want him striking out as many guys as possible.
Right. Like it's with Framber Valdez, it's like with Ichiro Suzuki. It's like you can go out and try to hit infield singles, but I'm not going to ask Adam Dunn to also do that.
Yeah, yeah, like that's not fair.
Yeah, that's just not how you're going to win baseball games.
Yeah, it all depends on individualism and just how that person is and getting a feel for what they like. And Framber Valdez is the ground ball guy.
Yeah, he is.
He is like the ground ball guy. I want to see if he's ever faced Eric Hosmer. I'm gonna find it.
We may have tried to find it before. Maybe it was just Aaron Bummer we tried that out with, but
I mean, Aaron Bummer probably. I guess they weren't in the same division because I think. Oh yeah, look, #1 trending pitcher Framber Valdez.
Yep.
All right, we're looking at every year. Did he debut last year, or did he pitch in
I think
2019?
he pitched
I think he
little
pitched-
bit in 2019.
I think he did
But he was a
too.
rookie last year.
Oh, he pitched in 2018. Wow.
Yeah.
I need to see if he's ever faced him.
Yeah, like the way Valdez was going, it was going to be hard for the Red Sox to win that game.
Mm-hmm.
So that makes you want Game 4 all that much more. But, we said before this series of 3 games at Fenway, we said that the winner of the team with the most wins in these 3 games is probably going to win the series. I might stand by that, especially the way the Red Sox offense has gone over the past couple games. However, I think situational hitting can be fixed a little more than if they're just striking out a lot or not hitting the ball hard. So, Game 6, the Red Sox have Eovaldi going. He's had a relief appearance in between his starts. It's Eovaldi in an elimination game. We haven't really seen much of him in elimination games, but
No, we haven't.
which is odd because he's built such a great postseason resume. But do or die game. You got Eovaldi versus. Has Houston announced their starter yet? Is it going to be
It's Luis Garcia, yeah. Bob Nightingale announced it.
Oh,
Yeah.
so it's going to be Christian Javier on the
Yeah,
mound.
it is.
Probably.
By the way, Bob tweeted out saying like, Champagne is on ice. The Braves are up 3-1. Like that can. Why would you tweet that? Like that can only end badly.
Right. Yeah. Like it gave me less confidence in the Braves. That's for sure.
Like what other writer do you see? Like imagine if Jeff Passan was like, put the Champagne on ice. The Braves are up 3-1 in the series.
Yeah. In
Like,
general, like not even
you would
if you're
never.
Bob.
Like if you're a baseball writer, you shouldn't be saying that. Like if it's 3-0 and you're up like 6-0 in like the 8th inning of Game 4, then you do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like someone hits a 3-run home run to make it 6-0, like you tweet it then. But
Yeah.
that's just very weird.
Especially when this exact scenario played out last year.
Yeah, exactly.
And the Dodgers ended up winning the series. It's so dumb.
Surely the Braves have never blown a 3-1 lead to the Dodgers in the NLCS.
And surely it wouldn't be with similar rosters as this year's. Definitely not. Yeah.
I mean, Framber Valdez has faced Eric Hosmer once. Unfortunately, it was a hit by pitch. So we've never truly seen it.
Yeah.
Which it's not fun, but oh well.
That's really unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Now we look ahead with the Red Sox and the Astros. So it's Eovaldi versus Garcia. The thing to be optimistic about with the Red Sox Astros from a Red Sox perspective is Red Sox won games 2 and 3. Those are going to be the matchups for games 6 and 7 most likely, unless the Astros call an audible for game 7, which I wouldn't doubt that happens given the performance of Urquidy last time.
Yeah.
But you've already won both of these matchups in this series. What are you thinking about it?
I think this series goes 7.
I agree.
I think it does. I mean, I don't know. Like this is so tough because Houston did like what I did not expect Houston to come out and win 2 games in Boston. I really did not.
Yeah, me neither.
But they did, and obviously going back to Houston, like you have to imagine the Astros have the advantage, and they certainly do. I do think the Red Sox get 1 though. I mean that like when you look at the Eovaldi Garcia matchup that happened last time, I don't know how deep Garcia is going to go into the start. I don't know if he's still hurt or not.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I wonder. You know what I bet they do? I bet if they win tonight, or if the Red Sox win tonight, I could see Jake Odorizzi going in Game 7. Given the performance of Urquidy, like maybe they have him and Urquidy face the lineup once.
True. That could very well happen.
I could see that one transpiring, and then I'm assuming Eduardo Rodriguez would just go for the Red Sox.
Yeah. That very well could happen. I think being at Minute Maid is gonna make a little bit of a difference. For both games. I think with the Red Sox, you kind of have to pounce a little earlier, get that crowd died down a little bit, kind of like in Game 2, where, I mean, obviously you're not going to hit 2 grand slams back-to-back
No.
innings. It's not going to happen. But
Not realistic.
you get a couple runs out on the board in the first few innings. You need some shutdown
The Red
innings
Sox have
from
scored-
your starters.
The Red Sox have scored like all their runs early this series.
Yeah.
I think like at least 90% of the runs have been in the first like 4 or 5 innings.
Yeah.
Houston's bullpen's been very good.
Yeah, get late and close. I know that's a split on Baseball Reference.
Yeah.
Um,
Late and close.
get late and closed, although some of the time it hasn't been closed. But yeah, Red Sox need to get some runs early, get some shutdown innings from their starters early because, as we've seen, bullpen versus bullpen, the Astros have been winning. For the
That
game,
that is the reality.
Game 1 that was the case. Game 4 that was the case.
Game 5 didn't really matter.
Game 5 it didn't really matter, but
But even in games 2 and maybe not game 3, but even in game 2, like
yeah.
it was what 5-0 from innings 4 on.
Yeah, in the Astros' favor.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you know, with the Red Sox, you gotta get out to early leads. With the Astros, if you're somewhat even early, very good sign for you, especially having the home field advantage.
Absolutely.
So those are my Tim McCarver keys to the game.
Yep.
You see, Joe. He was the Troy Aikman of baseball. Yeah.
He wasn't like that oblivious though.
He wasn't that
Like
oblivious.
Troy Aikman would be like, now see, that's a first down, Joe. That means that they get a new set of downs, and if they run out in the next 3, they have the option to kick a field goal, or they could go for it. But if they don't make it on that, they have to give the ball away to the other team.
So yeah, those are our keys to the game.
Yeah.
All right. Well, actually, I think we should get to some secondary MLB news because there's been
what has been happening?
Aaron Boone got extended.
Anyway, next topic. No, I'm just kidding. I'm shocked. I did not see this one happening. I thought one guarantee of this offseason after the Yankees lost the wild card game was Aaron Boone was getting fired. There was no way a team that was projected to have the best record in the American League, who then finished 92-70 with the third best record in their division, losing in the wild card game, who also has only won one playoff series, if you can even really count that, over the last 2 years. The manager of that team is still in good shape. I would never have guessed.
Yeah, no, definitely not. And it's weird to be like looking at Yankees Twitter and agreeing with most of what they're saying, because it's like, yeah, I think it's pretty obvious this guy should not be in a job anymore. He's only had one season where he's kind of outperformed expectations out of 4.
Yeah.
And the others were pretty much, 2018, I guess you win 100 games, but you didn't win the division.
You know what's crazy? The Red Sox are already at the point where Aaron Boone's best team went. ALCS Game 6.
Yeah, that's true, because, 2017, it was Girardi.
Yeah.
When they went to 7.
Yep.
That's unbelievable.
The Red Sox have rebuilt in between Aaron Boone's tenure.
Yeah, that's unbelievable. I think, it's just shock. It's just shock from my end.
Unreal. It's a shock from my end, too. And I think that says more about the Red Sox than it does the Yankees, that's not what we're talking about right now, but it is mind-blowing how all that has transpired over the last 4 years.
Right. Right, and it seems kind of like anti-Yankee way. It's obviously it's not George Steinbrenner's team anymore.
No.
But if you're underperforming expectations repeatedly like you have at least the past 2 years, and he's already not really well liked in the town, you try another guy.
I know it won't happen, but or I don't know. I don't want to say it won't happen. Yankee fans won't want it, but they should sign Correa this offseason.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean,
because
they
I
need
know
some reinforcement at shortstop.
Cashman said that shortstop is going to be a priority, and they want to move Glaber to second. I don't know where DJ LeMahieu goes in there then. Does he go to first and they trade Voit? Don't bring back Rizzo? Because they said they want to address shortstop. They want to move Glaber to second.
LeMahieu has had some time at third.
He has had some time at third.
And
What do they do with
Urshela
Urshela?
wasn't quite the guy last year.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe they'll try to shop Urshela around, but I don't really see that
Urshela,
happening.
yeah, I mean, Urshela's peak seems to have been in 2019 at this point.
Yeah.
So maybe that's what they do.
Yeah, it's interesting. But, you know, we don't know a lot about what the Yankees will do in the offseason outside of shortstop, but we know they are not manager hunting.
No.
And, you know, Cashman's still around as well, which, you know, I don't think Cashman does a bad job.
For the record, I don't think Aaron Boone even does that. I mean, I don't think he's a bad manager. Maybe he just isn't a fit for that team.
Yeah.
But also, like, the Yankees, like, I talked a lot about their batted ball statistics and their expected numbers, and they got BABIP and XFIP a decent amount this year.
Yeah. Well, I feel like XFIP is just due to happen.
I'm sorry, X slugged.
Oh, X slugged.
Yeah.
Not
XFIP.
Yeah.
No,
Yankee
you're
Stadium
right.
should just be called XFIP
Yeah.
Stadium.
Yeah, facts.
Right.
Yeah, X slugged is very different at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, it
That's
is.
like not supposed to happen.
Yeah, not
That's
at
why
all.
the pitchers get X slugged.
Yeah, not at all. So I guess, yeah, they were a little unlucky throughout the year, but yeah, I'm wondering if it's like, you know, upper management just liked. It could be the conspiracy that Boone is just doing what upper management wants him to do, so they're keeping him around because, you know, he doesn't ignore he does pretty much only what upper management tells him to do, which is, you know, it's a theory, it's not a fact, but it could be very true. Other than that, I think that's like the only thing I could think of, really.
I think the Yankees, like, other than signing a shortstop, their number one priority this offseason has to be extending Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
He's going into a walk year. That's not a guy you should let leave under any circumstances.
Yeah, you know, you're going to lose the fan base a little bit
Especially if they don't win the World Series next year.
Yeah.
Like, regardless of, even if they go to the World Series, if they just barely lose in Game 7, like, if you don't win the World Series and you don't bring back Aaron Judge, you're going to lose this. I mean, you're not going to lose the fan base. It's the Yankees. They'll be there regardless.
Right.
But you will make an enemy out of a lot of people.
Yeah. Like,
That's the way to put it.
If in 2023, Aaron Judge is not on the team and Aaron Boone is.
Yeah, and they still have 27 rings.
That would be very, very, very bad from a Yankees perspective. Yeah, and Aaron Judge has, after a year like he had this year where he performed like Aaron Judge and he played, 140-something games?
Well, 148.
148
yeah, like he stayed on the
games.
field. He had 30. He had a 916 OPS, 149 OPS plus, 39 home runs. He only had 98 RBIs though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we'll let him walk.
Selfish.
So the Yankees are gonna let Aaron Judge walk. He might take like the qualifying. He could take the qualifying offer.
Yeah.
Yeah. That might be it.
Yeah, he's not an elite run driver inner like Adam Duvall.
Not like he's not Jose Abreu.
He's not Jose.
Yeah, he's not Salvador Perez either.
Right. Man, no one's like Salvador Perez, man.
Yeah.
Gold Glove defense.
Yeah. People say he's like what was it, Mike Piazza offensively and Yadier Molina defensively?
Yes.
Literally Spader said that. Why would you ever say that? What defensive metrics point to that? None.
Yeah. People really want to like him.
Was that a commentary on Yachty being overrated? Like,
right. Yeah, both guys being overrated.
yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, Aaron Boone got extended. Also, there was some news like last week about what was the thing with the MLB package?
Oh,
update?
yes. MLB is in the works. None of this is official, but the New York Post had that they are in the works of getting a universal streaming service, which I'm assuming would mean no blackouts. I'm hoping it means we can watch games in the playoffs from said service. That's obviously huge. And then minor leaguers got housing.
Yeah, they are getting housing.
Thank God.
Um,
Bullying works.
Yeah, they they do not have to have host families anymore, but it's also a thing of, you have to kind of keep your eyes peeled because they said housing.
Yeah.
I don't know if they're guaranteeing a certain level of housing.
I mean, whatever it is, it's probably better than what they were going with beforehand.
Right.
Like where we're paying guys $1,600 a month to get their own place, and also pay other expenses. Like,
yeah.
I like the quality of housing. Like, I'm sure that'll get out there, and there might be some issues here and there, but players won't have to buy their own housing, which is huge.
Yeah, yeah. It would, from a journalistic perspective, it would have been interesting to go into one of those host families' houses because
someone wrote an article, and it was like how this is bad for like host families.
yeah,
It's like, who cares?
yeah.
This is way more important than host families. Is like, obviously, they do very respectable work, but this isn't about what they're missing out on, because it's about making sure people don't go into mental health crises every day.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, yeah. To add an anecdote to that, like, both of us worked for a New York Penn League team at one point, right?
Yep.
New York Penn League is not associated with Major League Baseball anymore, but I was working for the Connecticut Tigers in 2018 in their very dwindling years.
Yes.
When, man, no one was showing up to anything that wasn't on a Saturday. But I worked side by side with someone who was part of a host family, and it's like, they had a big house, and they had like 5 guys there along with like their own family. So like, it's okay for a host family, but if you're a dude in his maybe late teens, early 20s, and you're spending a summer with this family you don't really know, and you don't really have the privacy you want,
Yep.
it's not the best option. So it's good to see Major League Baseball doing the minimal amount to help them out.
Very true.
Because ultimately, also, this is going to lead to better performance from the minor leaguers, which is going to lead into Major League Baseball, because there's many different avenues you can go, but I know their nutrition is terrible as well.
Yep.
A lot of these guys are losing 10 to 20 pounds throughout a season when they should be either maintaining the same weight or gaining weight, because they're kind of younger and less developed, and they're getting like peanut butter jelly sandwiches before a game. That's the worst case scenario, but that has been the case. So it's just, things are going to keep on rolling in the minor leagues, and
Thank God. It's sad that this is such breaking news. Like, this should have been like a no-brainer, but it's not what happened. So.
Yeah, I think it's a thing where, like, luckily in the past few years, this has gotten more and more publicity.
Mm-hmm.
Because, as you said, bullying works, or just, having any publicity against them works.
Yeah.
because
like, this would still be going on if no one spoke up about anything and Major League Baseball wasn't backed into a corner.
Yeah, and
that's how stuff gets done.
Right, exactly. And it's a thing where probably isn't making a dent in any financial realm.
Yeah.
For Major League Baseball.
I mean, like, that's how Major League Baseball has functioned. They don't make changes to their problems until they're addressed as problems. Like, obviously the minor leagues are a thing. Possibly blackouts are going to end because people complain about them. Blackouts have been happening for years. Like, I started watching MLB TV in like 2012, 2013. They were a thing then, and no one really started speaking up about them until like the last few years. And now we're getting this possible service. The Astros cheating scandal, there was not an investigation open until there was print out there. They had been notified multiple times in the years before, and they did nothing. The spider tax scandal, like this year, like that was very, very recently, where they knew it was going on for years, and they stayed stagnant on it until there were reports out there that it was happening, and they had to do something. This is how Major League Baseball functions. They won't do anything until someone brings it up.
Right. I'm actually wondering, like, there's that Baseball Doesn't Exist YouTube channel.
Mhm.
I wonder if like just that guy making that one video that happened in like November, December had a little bit of an impact on how Major League Baseball was looking at the foreign substance
Yeah.
thing. Did that 30-minute video by a random guy?
Someone
like-
had to have seen it in Major League Baseball's offices, right?
Yeah, because I mean,
Like maybe Manfred hasn't seen it, but someone who's in contact with Manfred had to have seen it.
yeah,
They're like, guys, like they know.
yeah, exactly. Because I mean, it got a fair amount of views. You know,
A fair
several
amount, yeah.
several 100,000
Yeah.
at least. I don't know if it got into the millions, but a lot of baseball fans saw it. Yeah. So yeah, Major League Baseball making some positive changes, streaming services, and it's like but even happening before the CBA is getting changed. Right?
Yeah,
maybe it's
that's
just
big.
maybe it's just a precursor to that.
Hopefully.
So that's good. Maybe it's like just the MLB catching up and being like, "What do you mean we haven't made improvements? You know, we
Look what we did. That's what I'm scared of. Is like, this isn't the end of the fight for minor leaguers. Like they still need to be paid above a living wage.
Yeah,
Especially for Major League Baseball that makes tens of billions of dollars in revenue.
right.
Like I'm sure they can afford to pay their minor leaguers more than $1,600 a month.
Yeah,
Uh, that's what I'm scared of. Is Major League Baseball is gonna be like, no, look, we did it. We saved the day.
and you've cut out a lot of these single A teams. You've cut out 20 rounds of the MLB draft. If you're gonna do that, and you're gonna limit the roster spaces for your teams, now you have to make up for that financially and give the money that you were going to give to those guys
Absolutely nailed it.
and give it to the current
That's
minor
another
league
point. Like
baseball
they took
players.
out so many jobs, only to give the few that remained with jobs the same salary.
Right. I haven't heard any reported changes, but like if you're cutting out 20 rounds,
I think they did up their salaries a little bit, but not proportionately.
Right.
Not even close to proportionately.
right, proportionately it should be proportionate for
Yeah.
sure. I think they're making around 1,500-1,600 a month. It should be probably close to double that, at least. Especially because they're not even making that the whole year. They're making that for a select few months. It's pretty messed up, but it's the business, as they say. Was there any other headlines that happened?
Nothing that I can think of.
Do we want to predict how we think
Yeah, let's do
what
it.
we're going to be talking about on Monday?
Yeah. I think on Monday we're talking about the legacy of playoff Max Fried,
Uh-huh.
and I think we're talking about one of Ron Washington or Dusty Baker getting a ring.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
Man,
The tables have turned. Those 3 games at Fenway really shifted my view of the series.
right. And it will suck if 2020 if both in 2020 and 2021 we had the Astros and Dodgers in the
Yeah,
CS,
right.
and they just miss each other both years.
Because one of them loses.
yeah, that would
Yeah.
that would suck. I mean, because I think the flavor of the rivalry would only work this year because Correa
This year
there.
Correa's there. There's actually going to be fans. Like last year, it would have been like, oh, dude, cool. It's a game in front of 20,000 people in Texas, nonetheless. All of them in Texas.
Yeah.
Like that's not fun. This year would be the good stuff.
Right. Yeah. It wouldn't be fair in 2020.
No.
Yeah. Well, I'm thinking. I mean, I like Max Fried for the Braves tonight, but I think it'll be hard to win, to clinch in Dodger Stadium. Although it's happened before.
I was thinking about it. If the Braves win tonight, they become the 3rd NL East team in the last 7 years to clinch a series at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah, and I guess
Let's go Phillies and Marlins. Let's get it done.
I know the series format is different, but it would be in a Game 5.
Always in a Game 5. Yeah, that is very true.
Right. Okay, so what am I thinking? I don't really know what's going to happen in Game 5.
That's kind of how sports work. That's how sports predictions work. You don't
Yeah.
know what's going to
I
happen.
don't really know what's
No one
going to
knows what's going to happen.
I'll say, I'll say Braves get the. Yeah, I'll say Braves get the win tonight, and just like we predicted, series ends in 5 games.
Yep.
And
You nailed it.
you know what? I'll ride out my Red Sox in 7
Okay.
prediction.
That's what you had. Might as well.
Because it's like, they can't keep not getting runners with scoring position in. They can't continue their streak to like 0 for 25.
That is true.
At least that's how it is in my head. Maybe they sure
For
could.
an offense that scored 21 runs in 2 games just, a couple days ago. Feels like that's a little weird.
Yeah. All right.
If only they save their runs, you know what I'm saying, Chris?
Yeah, just scatter them across. Come on. Just acting
Simply,
like straight fools in Game 3. In our house we make fun of people who are like, they're scoring their runs too early. They're wasting their runs right now.
The worst, and I've said this to you, the worst is the home runs kill rallies people.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you don't want to hit a home run there because like now they have to restart and have the bases empty again.
Right. It's like I know it was tied and now they're up 3, but geez, I think
I understand they just got 2 guaranteed runs instead of having a chance to get, a couple more. But I mean, that's a problem.
I understand they were down 3 and it was the bottom of the 9th and he just hit a grand slam and the game's over now, but I mean, they really could have used a better, more efficient rally there.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, you want to work guys around, work the base paths.
It's just old school stuff.
Yeah,
day one baseball stuff.
We want BABIP.
Yeah. We want some babippery. All right, so we hope you enjoyed this one. If you want to follow us on social media, follow me on Twitter at Chris_Gianta. Follow Daniel on both Twitter and Instagram at Daniel_Curran, and follow the show Instagram at Above Replacement Radio for all the show needs. And we hope you enjoyed this one, and we hope to see you on Monday, where we are recapping both LCSs and what happened, and we are previewing the Fall Classic.
The World Series.
The World Series. See you then.
Bye-bye.
This conversation is over.